Okay, well let's take a look at the POR packet. That's the one digital set of forms that you can also print out and fill out in hard copy if you'd like, that describe the different types of transactions that you may want to make a request over in order to get what you want. A couple things about the POR packet in general. Number one, it's just one packet for all types of purchase order requests. So there are about 7 different types of transactions you can ask for, from check in dollars to government purchase card being utilized, utilizing a purchase via a credit card, or different types of transactions, even to include asking for a bus, WAN reimbursement, you name it. So the POR packet is just a centralized packet for all types of purchase order requests. There are comprehensive directions on each page of the purchase order request. There's also a frequently asked questions, a facts section that is separate from your packet that you can look at to answer any questions you might have, as well as utilizing these videos online. You only submit the pages you'll need. You'll see that the packet itself is probably 15, 16, 17 pages, but typically you'll only submit 2 or 3 of those pages. Only the pages you need as described in the type of transactions on the very first page. And just a reminder again that incorrect or incomplete purchase order requests will simply be sent back to the sponsoring chaplain for you and that chaplain to fix, so that you'll submit the next week and things will sail through just fine if it's a correct submission. All the fixes for your purchase order request, again, are on the front end, either through your sponsoring chaplain, through using these tools online, through using the frequently asked questions, by coming early 12 to 1700 on Fridays to ask whatever questions you have during customer service hours. All those means to help you submit correctly so that your purchase order request can come through right on time, right the way you want it. Well, let's look at page 1 of your purchase order request. And if you happen to have a set of purchase order requests packet printed out, that might be helpful for you, and we'll show you on the screen some things as well. Page 1 is always going to be the first page for any purchase order request transaction. You'll always include page 1. You're going to select the type of transaction that you're requesting from the 7 options listed in the middle of the page there. Just follow all the step-by-step instructions, and one reminder again to make sure that you complete all the information, especially there where it says requester and event information and selecting a type of transaction. We have to have that information from you or else it'll be returned so that it can be made complete in order to best help you. Then you notice at the very top of the page is a very important step that you'll actually do as the final thing when you submit your POR at the South Post Chapel Fund Office. When you go to drop that off, you'll put down a tracking number from the POR drop-off logbook. There'll be a logbook for you right there. It's very obvious at South Post Chapel. You just log in the amount and the date and the name of the requester, very self-explanatory, into the logbook, and automatically the software in this form will put in the amount of your transaction for you into the blank you see right there on the top of the page where it says exact amount being requested on this POR. That will be included automatically for you on the form. That's very important because that's one of the ways we can track this. If there's any question, something happens to get lost or miscommunicated, it's very important to have that information. So make sure once you're done on page 1, you log the information in and fill everything else out completely. That's it for page 1. Step-by-step instructions for you there. Now we'll go on to page 2, which is your approval sheet. On the approval sheet, again, pretty self-explanatory, this is always going to be the second page of any purchase order request. They will always have an approval sheet, and you're going to have the appropriate individuals sign there, but the most important of which will certainly be your sponsoring chaplain. Make sure your sponsoring chaplain's signature is on this page, or again, it will be returned to you in order to get that sponsoring chaplain's signature. By regulation, each of the purchase order requests have to be approved by the sponsoring chaplain. The bottom block is for the Chaplain Tithe and Offering Fund manager's use only, so don't worry about that. Okay? Very self-explanatory. POR page 2 included with each POR transaction that you'll submit. Also, just want to mention that there's only one type of transaction per POR submitted. So if you have multiple vendors that you want to make multiple purchases from, you'll use a purchase order request for each and every one of them. You are not allowed to combine multiple types of transactions from multiple vendors on a single purchase order. One purchase order request for each purchase order and vendor you're looking to establish.